There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
Upon me, the whispering of leeches in my ear. Calling a ventriloquist, scratched his name across my wrist. Paparazzi starting to cheer. Take your picture at the scene of the crime. We got your victim and we made up your mind. Turn off the spotlight, whose God will you be? Well, they want you if your hands are clean. Can't stop the bleeding, I'm not healing soon. He shot the world, I am the exit wound. Who lives inside of the tongue tells the altered voice what to say. Hey, ballerina bayonet, slice us up with pirouettes. Mouth is shut on hand grenade. Take your picture at the scene of the crime. We got your victim and we made up your mind. Turn off the spotlight, whose God will you be? Well, they want you if your hands are clean. Can't stop the bleeding, I'm not healing soon. He shot the world, I am the exit wound. He shot the world, I am the exit wound. Can't stop the bleeding, I'm not healing soon. Can't stop the bleeding, I'm not healing soon.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Please don't leave. Welcome to the program. I am your little host. Welcome. Get on in here. My name's Dark Match Steve. Oh, yeah. That's some Marilyn Manson, ladies and gentlemen. Brand spanking new, Marilyn Manson. And oddly enough, this album is, it's called One Assassination Under God. I think that's it. But this is part 2. That song is from part 2. It's only like a couple days old or something. Brand new Marilyn Manson coming out. How about that, guys? So yeah, tonight we are checking in on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. Okay? Look, there's been all kinds of developments, and I almost wanted to cover some of it yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't because I wouldn't have seen Candace had some more stuff that she went over. We're going to check out stuff from 2 days of Candace's show, and I got to show you guys some, I guess it's mostly this guy's Twitter. He might have other social media, but yeah. This guy's Twitter, I forget the dude's name, but he's dropped some interesting stuff on there. There's some Erica Kirk stuff that I've had saved over like a week and a half or something, so we're going to try to get to a bunch of this stuff. And, but yeah, guys, I don't know. This is, I've been pretty outspoken about the Kirk situation since day one, as you know. You can see on September 12th, September 11th. He got taken out on the 10th. So yeah, it was within less than 24 hours after the original thing, the date of when it happened. I think within 24 hours, I had posted a video and no one else had pointed this out in this video. This video was going around because people were showing the hand movements of all the bodyguards and stuff and how they seem to be tactical hand signals. We all remember that. But people started sharing that within the first 24 hours. And I noticed in one of those videos that it appeared to be some kind of projectile that came from the back of Charlie Kirk. And I isolated it in the video, circled around it and stuff, and posted that. So I've been on this for a while. And I've partly because of that video and just different things, I was really thinking that this was, it was some kind of, maybe not a gunshot specifically, but some projectile that came from the back, upper back side and to, Charlie Kirk's right. Something that came, and I could pull that video up if we really need to do it. We can go over to my Instagram. I believe it's still on there, but yeah, so I've been thinking that was since day one, nearly since day one, I've been thinking that this was a projectile that came from the back. And it's funny how that is sort of like, everybody within the first 24 hours started saying, oh, this is some fucking trans freak that did this. It's a gay person, whatever. Oh my God, the country's going to war with each other. It's going to be a civil war, the MAGA versus the trannies and stuff. I was like, everybody cool it. Dude, there's something up here. Something doesn't sit right with me about it. And then I saw what appeared to be the bullet coming from behind him. And then it's weird because if it weren't for that I had found that video myself, then all of this weird stuff starts to happen, the weird behavior from Erica Kirk. And then all of the shaky, at best, evidence in quotation marks that the feds have for their little Fed slop narrative against Tyler Robinson. And, it was just weird how it all started to line up, and it wasn't even like I needed to, I really searched hard for stuff that would be congruent with my initial feelings on this when I saw the video of the projectile. coming from a different direction. I didn't even have to like go to look for this stuff. It's like all of this, the Fed slop stuff, just like if it all this stuff just started falling into my lap. That was like, oh yeah, that kind of adds to my theory that this whole thing is like, there's something up here and the narrative is bullshit. And I was right that there's something up with this projectile in the video that I'd seen. So anyway, we're going to get to this tonight because I have been pretty, not like overly, but fairly dismissive of the Rode mic theory. Okay. The exploding mic theory. And I can get into a little bit more detail why, but, and by the way, let me get just through a little bit of this monologue and I'll get to the chat, say hello to everybody getting in here, and then we'll get started. But, so I've been a little bit dismissive of the exploding mic theory just because of, well, number one, the video that I had seen, and then also just the way that, the injury to his neck, to me, it doesn't, it was just harder to imagine that if the microphone is here and they're saying there's an explosion that happens and the projectile comes up and hits here, I mean, it just looks like with the angle that it would be something that just barely grazes his neck. And I just don't understand, but I think, see, this is the weird thing is, and what we might end up getting to tonight in terms of like a possible conclusion is that more than one thing happened to him, which is like kind of what this whole time I've just been stuck on. I feel like he got shot from a different direction, but I'm sold on the fact that his mic exploded, and I can't explain certain things, guys, and you guys know, I hope not to be too much of a broken record tonight because we've been over this a lot. We've talked about this a lot, but this is very interesting developments. Please stay with me. I'm going to show you guys there's new stuff that has come out with this Rode mic theory. That is compelling. And, but yeah, there's a lot of things I just haven't. It's weird. My bullet theory has pretty much explained everything that I thought it needed to really explain, except for a couple things, which would be the way that his necklace just like exploded and flew backwards the way that it does. That is weird, and I can't exactly explain that with my theory of just a bullet coming or a projectile coming from the opposite direction, entering probably somewhere in his hairline where you wouldn't be able to see an entrance wound, even from a 30-06. But you wouldn't see a 30-06 entrance wound within like the first 3 seconds pop and then it coming out like that. But a 30-06 entrance wound that's the size of a Reese cup does not make sense. An entrance wound typically, unless the bullet tumbles because it hit something else, which you then have to explain. Typically entrance wounds are very small and often hard to see. So yeah, a lot of things. There's just a lot of weird shit with this, but also. What I'm going to say is the second thing that I can't explain with the only a projectile from the back bullet type of theory is the fragments of the microphone all up in the, what's it called? The SUV. There's pictures of this, and I think that now we have proved, this is the crucial part tonight, guys. I think now it's pretty much just about proven that the pictures from inside the SUV that show fragments of some kind of plastic shit all over the ground, it appears to be this shattered microphone. And, and they say that they took his shirt off inside of the SUV and the fragments probably fucking went everywhere. And so anyway, let's get to this. I'll show you guys what we've got with this. Also, Candace has shown that there's some kind of inconsistencies with the claims that people made of what happened right after Charlie was taken out. and stuff. So we got a lot to get to here. Anyway, let me get to the chat, say hello to everybody getting in here, and we'll get started. Hold on, let me get you guys up on the page. Plot out. Kenny Powers up in here. What's up, Kenny? Johnny Z's up in here. Hutch, Matty P. Gentlemen, welcome, welcome. Bob, Coke Can, Cannabis, Cookie Cook up in here. White Ice Tea, what's up? White Ice Tea's up in here joining us. Thank you, sir. Truth is up in here. Scott Starbird, sir. Scott Starbird has officially gotten paid by Bayer, Monsanto, whatever. No, I'm going to have to do a full episode. We're going to have to discuss this Supreme Court ruling, and we're going to go over some of the info that I've reported on this years ago. I talked about this on a podcast, my pre-recorded podcast, back before I ever did a live stream. I did a podcast on this and found a lot of interesting information. We might even have to do this on Saturday because I had a more fun options planned for tomorrow. And so, yes, we might actually do a pop-up Saturday stream again. We'll see about it. I might be streaming like fucking 7 days a week again. Truth up in here. What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. I chugged some kefir and some bone broth and what else? And a little bit of a protein shake. Scott said, I'm still leaning towards the exploding mic. Bro, you know what? I think it could be both, though. This interesting. And this one guy, I'm not sure, but I've seen... dude, I don't even fucking know. This one guy he analyzes a bunch of the audio. They have the audio broken down visually on this thing, and they can show from different angles where you're hearing these noises, and they can tell that there's a couple loud sounds that are being generated from different spots because they're taking the audio from several different videos where people are all over the place. You know, there's like 10 different angles of this. And the audio seems to imply that there's like a couple loud bangs, what you're actually hearing in this audio. It's not... It seems like there's a couple loud bangs that maybe even 3 or 4 loud things that are happening within like the span of like, half of a second. It's weird. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. I'm not sure. For me, the exploding mic doesn't explain killing him. It really doesn't. The way that he locked up and the blood poured out and stuff, to me, that seems like... And the fact that there isn't like a trail of blood and stuff, like I think his spine was severed and he died pretty much instantly. And the blood that you're seeing, Dr. Dan explained to me, I forget now which one he said, but he was saying that's not... he said that's basically the blood draining from his head, and that his heart, it could have been that his heart was stopped already, and that's just the blood draining from his head, what you see. And so you're not gonna, after the blood drains from his head, he has a lot of blood loss right there, and they drag him away. It's not like his heart's still pumping blood, so you expect him to be gushing blood the whole walk over to the SUV. There's some people that think the whole thing is fake because you're not seeing a trail of blood to the SUV. That does not prove anything. It's a shame that, We need our conspiracy people to really try to, unite on a couple good theories. Okay? Don't start saying that it's fucking holograms and stuff, guys. It's silly with the hatch in the floor and just stop. They pulled up the goddamn sod and replaced it with concrete. Clearly there's evidence down there that they're hiding, and it's not a fucking hatch to get to the plumbing, okay? Charlie Kirk did not come out of a hatch in the ground. We all watched the video. There's 10 angles, and the hologram theory is so retarded. Stop it. Join us with the exploding mic / possibly shot from behind theory. Just be realistic. Come on. Dutch Duke up in here. What's up, Double D? Good to see you, sir. All right, I'm just about caught up. I just was saying hello to everybody. If I missed something important, please just retype it in the chat, lovers. Yeah, guys, new Marilyn Manson stuff isn't too bad. I've been sort of like, there's a couple songs. So it's part one of, it's called One Assassination Under God, right? Hold on, let me make sure. Take a look at this. Yeah, One Assassination Under God. This is from chapter 2, the song that I introed with. It's called Exit Wound. It's from 13 days ago. So pretty new Manson stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get hit with a Kizoppy Riz. I think he's probably happy that people are sharing his stuff, Normally when I intro with Manson songs, I don't get hit with a violation, so we'll probably be good with that. I did get hit for the what's it called? Last night the stream dropped, remember? That was because of Jerry Springer. Can you guys believe it? A clip from 20-some years ago, right? Or when was it? The 90s? I don't remember what the clip was so blurry. I'm surprised that some copyright thing could even recognize that I'm playing it. It was so blurry, you could hardly tell what the hell was going on, and I got hit with a copyright violation from Jerry Springer from a 30-year-old clip. Guys, I can't even fucking believe it. Unreal. But I was able to just, clip it out of there when I didn't get hit. It was one that it made my video incapable of being watched until I took it out of the video. So anyway, the struggles of being a streamer and trying to steal Jerry Springer's 30-year-old content. It's not easy, guys. All right, let's get to it. So let's take a look. Let's do this in chronological order. 2 days ago, God knows what she talked about today. 2 days ago, Candace Owens. I was already just happened to be checking this out. And I was like, holy, guys, I don't watch Candace every day. I don't know who the fuck does. But I know I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm just like, I appreciate her. I like that she reports and keeps up with a lot of this stuff, but I can't think about Charlie Kirk and how and why, what happened to him. I can't do it every day. I just can't. So, but I just happened to check in on Candace 2 days ago while it was premiering, or I guess she is live, while she was live. And I was like, holy crap, this is actually interesting. Let me get this up here. Is that right? Hold on. Okay, yes, this is Residue Evil. This is the one from 2 days ago. Hold on. Get you guys back over here. Got to watch this ad with me.
Last week, Erica posted,
I had a dream about shopping for salt.
riveting. At DreamCloud, we produce better dreams. So let's try this again.
Dream Cloud? What the fuck? What is this?
Everybody on the
Okay. Bro, all this stuff. Lance Twiggs stuff. Okay, yeah. So there's updates with the Tyler Robinson case too that we're gonna get to also. some of the Lance Twig stuff, I'm sure she gets, it looks like we got here in the little, the deal down here. It's saying, okay, so let's check this out. Brian Harpool. What Brian Harpool did with Hello? Are we good? Guys, did the stream drop? What just happened? Did the stream drop or did the connection just look really crappy? I don't know what just happened. That looked very bad. Okay. Thank you, Scott. I don't know what I don't know what just happened on my end. It looked like the stream went down again. Froze on my end. See, you know what? I thought something happened. Maddie said, when you start looking at Candace as a voice of reason, you've truly lost the plot. I agree. That's why I have never said to just take Candace's word on anything. We're watching this. We've also watched we watch Donald Trump talk about stuff. We watch all kinds of people talk about stuff. We don't necessarily endorse everything that they say or agree with it.
On it.
Okay, so let's just check this out. Maddie, this is interesting. We don't have to agree with what she's saying here, but the fact is that people have been looking into the exploding mic idea and some interesting things have come up. So, let's take a look at it. Oh, and Butter Knives, welcome, sir. And thank you for letting me know, by the way. I didn't even say welcome. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us. No problem here. Thanks, Bob Cook. Okay. I don't know, guys. You know what's funny? My numbers dropped, but not completely to zero. My numbers dropped. I think something weird happened where some people got almost knocked off for a second and it made the numbers drop. That was really weird. Because that's why I thought YouTube went completely down. I can't see where we're also at Facebook and YouTube, which I didn't even mention. Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, and X tonight. So, but I saw the numbers drop and I was like, what the hell? I think some of you guys almost got kicked off, or the connection was so bad it counted it as not viewing it. I don't know what just happened. Okay. All right, here, let's check this out.
The answer to it, as well as other people, a long time ago, actually, in his early days of covering the case. I just wasn't following Barron back then. And also,
Okay, wait, we're not back far enough. All right, there we go. We're going to play this in 10x speed, don't worry.
Okay, so the list of things that are suddenly beginning to make a whole lot of sense when you consider the increasingly plausible scenario that it was indeed Charlie's road mic, which was rigged to kill him, is growing. The list is growing. Now, I had asked a question last week, and gratefully someone pointed out to me that Baron Coleman had already furnished the answer to it, as well as other people, a long time ago, actually, in his early days of covering the case. I just wasn't following Baron back then. And also, I maintain that I was in a real state of shock and grief, and I was not processing information as usual. There was so much coming in, so many questions, so many things for me to respond to, recognizing that I was suddenly going to be at war with Turning Point USA on top of my grief.
Maddie P. Dude, I understand people not liking Candace and stuff. I'm not playing this because I agree with everything she says. In fact, I've been pushing. You have to remember, be fair about this, bro. Like, number one, I have been pushing back about stuff Candace has said. And when she went to go have a talk with Erica Kirk, I publicly said, listen, if Candace Owens comes back from this talk with Erica and starts saying, you know what, I think she's legitimately a grieving widow and everybody leave her alone, and, stop talking about this, and she doesn't give us a good explanation as to why, we can't just like go with that. Candace is not a leader of this like questioning the feds movement. This is just people having the common sense to understand that the evidence they're showing us does not prove Tyler Robinson did it by far. And then also there's a bunch of things that directly don't match up, that directly conflict with the idea of him having done it. So, and then also on top of that, and I've been against, she has been more of a proponent of the road mic theory. I have been against this idea because I thought it was a distraction, and it may be, I don't know. This could be a distraction from the fact that he was actually just shot from behind. I don't know. But I also want to say, to give myself credit here, and just with the implication that you said I'm just following Candace, you can go back, dude. Candace did not speak on this publicly for like, what was it, a week, 2 weeks? From within the first, at least bare minimum, we'd have to go back and check precisely, but within 2 days, the day after Kirk got taken out, I posted a video saying, I think the bullet came from a different direction, and this guy, Tyler, or whoever they're going to say did this, is a patsy. They're saying it came from the front, and whoever they're saying did it is a patsy, because I have this video and all these other factors, like I said, with the exit wound versus entrance wound and all these things, seems to line up more with the fact that they're just giving you some fucking Fed slop bullshit. So I've been ahead of the curve with this. We're now, just because I want to not, Charlie Kirk wasn't my best friend. Fucking Candace Owens knew him. I understand why she will probably talk about this every day on her show for the rest of her life, but I don't want to do that. So I have not kept up with it as much. So I like to see what some of the other people are thinking about this who don't follow the official narrative.
But anyway, last week I had asked that crucial question: what happened to Charlie Kirk's white freedom shirt, right? We were exploring that shirt in particular because it would definitively have explosive residue on it if the theory holds. It's something that could easily, at the very least, put the theory to bed. If our hypothesis is correct, then Charlie's shirt would actually be the biggest piece of evidence available, right? To those seeking to hide the fact that he was hit with an explosive, every place and item upon which the explosive residue may have landed would have to be either cleaned up or destroyed entirely, right? Like the soil. We covered this. Can we test it for explosive residue? Nope, we can't, because we learned that they took care of that soil. 10 inches of soil dug out immediately and repaved by Saturday. Charlie died on a Wednesday, and that soil was gone by Saturday. By Sunday.
Yeah, bro. And think about this too. I mean, I get still this affects the exploding mic theory, but just remember, this was before. I don't even think there was an exploding mic theory. I was just saying, dude, imagine get inside my head for a minute and say, imagine you were suspicious from the get-go that how many people had political, how politically charged this was, and everyone wanted to like blame trans people for it. And I was just like, wait, hold up, guys. And then within 24 hours, I had noticed in a video what appears to be a projectile coming from a different direction from a different place from where they say the guy, the real shooter, took the shot. And I was like, oh yeah, guys, there's some fucking bullshit going on here. I think the bullet came from upward behind Kirk in a downward direction from Kirk's right side and down. And then imagine within like 4 days or less, they tear up the soil and sod and completely contaminate the crime scene and put cement there instead. Just imagine, be in my head and say, oh yeah, I would just give this up and pretend like, the Fed story makes sense and it's not weird that they contaminated the crime scene, when the theory that I noticed first, that no one told me anything about, that I noticed, where the evidence would be to prove my theory, has been contaminated and actually removed from the crime scene. Pretend you would ever give that up. Pretend. Please, for me.
Pavers were installed. Okay, forget that. What about the necklace? That's an obvious place. Well, nope, that was taken care of too, because the feds were looking for it for some unknown reason, as was Frank Turek, and it was then given to the widow. who now wears it around her neck. And who on earth would expect her to hand that over? It keeps her close to her husband. Okay, well, let's skip that, right? What about the handheld microphone? That's an obvious one. Surely we kept that one in evidence, right, Cash Patel? Oh, nope. Sorry, the widow needed that for the Mar-a-Lago fundraiser. It's encased in some glass, and she is mourning beside it with photographers at her helm. It all seems a bit too convenient. But surely, we think, surely you are thinking, this can't be an inside job. All of that, keeping this, giving this to the widow, all of it could be fine potentially if we had Charlie's clothes. I mean, everybody knows you keep the clothes, right? Where is his shirt? It would hold the most evidence. Surely that made it to the hospital and is in the possession of the police, the feds, right? Right? Wrong. Because here's what happened to his shirt, according to Brian Harpole, who joined Sean Ryan for a car crash of an interview, for which I'm being sued over. Here is what happened to Charlie's shirt, in case you missed it or forgot it like I did. Take a listen.
We get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Well, once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney and then I wheel him into a.
Dude, I don't know exactly. Maddie P, I don't pretend to. Yeah, the chat skipped, but I guess you typed the same thing twice. Yeah, I don't pretend to know. Willing Patsy? Well, dude, no. Willing Patsy. I mean, what so far? What is given you the impression he's a willing Patsy? The fact that they said that he admitted to doing it and turned himself in, but then it turned out, oh well, they pretty much coerced him and threatened him by saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go and fuck your house up and tear your shit up when your family's there if you just turn yourself in. All this shit. They told us the family members. Remember, guys, let's keep track. They told us the family members all wanted him turned in because they thought he did it, and the family's against him. Then the reporter that went to court to one of the hearings for Tyler Robinson got on recording, audio recording of Tyler Robinson's grandparents saying that this was a setup and that he didn't do it. So they've been lying to us. This is why people have the impression that he's like going along with it. He hasn't pleaded guilty. He's defending himself, right? They're in court. So what was he doing there? Dude, I don't know. This is the thing. He could have been dude, what if he was a part, Kenny, what if he was a part of like of some fucking group, some weird group, number one, and they're not giving this could be something that's like, unironically, the fact that if they're ignoring the conspiracy element of this, just trying to, whatever, make it look like it was one lone gunman, they're probably ignoring a group of people. There were all kinds of red flags on Twitter with people tweeting about how stuff was going to happen to Charlie Kirk that day. There were all these tweets preceding this event. There was clearly a network of people that knew something was going to happen or seemed to hint at this on Twitter. Or it's some kind of weird algorithmic trick like they did with the time-traveling shooter at the White House correspondent dinner. I don't fucking know. Anyway, why he's up there, the fact that this is the point, is the fact that Tyler Robinson was there and the fact that his rifle, which I don't think they've actually proved this, but they say his rifle, they found his rifle in the woods and it has his fingerprints on it, and his screwdriver was left up on the roof and that has his fingerprints on it. None of that proves that he did this. That's just, if they took his screwdriver from his house, if some fucking Fed or something did that and threw it up on the roof, it would still have his fingerprints on it. If someone else took the shot from the roof I don't even think that Kirk was killed from that rooftop, but if someone did that with Tyler's rifle and wore gloves, then Tyler Robinson's DNA would be on it and it would look like Tyler Robinson had taken the shot. Then, none of this proves that he did it. He could have been tricked because he was in some kind of extremist group. He could have been tricked into going up on the roof. Even with maybe this is the thing. This is one of the things where people are arguing over whether what he had in that towel, why, when he jumps off of the roof and he has that thing wrapped in the towel, that does not look like a fully assembled rifle, a 30-06. That's not what that looks like. It looks like it's broken down, which means he would have then assembled it and then thrown it into the woods, which doesn't make sense. I mean, that means he's disassembling, assembling it, and then disassembling it again. And that would also mean he would have had to have assembled it again without his screwdriver because he left it up on the roof. There's so many things that are just like, it doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't prove that he fucking did it. You know, Funny Face is up in here. What's up, Funny? Well, dude, no, but how do you know that that's him on the roof? How do we even know that? Dude, Kenny, the video of the roof, do you understand that they have, if that is an actual video of the roof, that they have video footage of the moment the shot was taken, and they could show that the person running on the roof was in the prone position and took the shot and then got up and ran at the exact moment. You know, there's people that have actually, they're autistic enough. I'm going to show you, this guy showed that if you go by his pace of running across the roof, and also after he jumps down and he's running on the ground, if you go with that pace, that doesn't even give him enough time to have been at the point and take the shot, like laying down, and then get up and like run across at the same pace. Like, it's like the timing doesn't even, they could show us the footage to prove this if they had it. That's what I'm saying. The rooftop video is cut. It's edited, guys. It's not like the video just starts there with the guy running across the roof. Obviously, they're playing games with the evidence. It doesn't mean, let me be clear, this doesn't mean I'm saying 100% Tyler wasn't involved or had something to do with it or was part of, like, what, it's possible, but what they're showing us does not prove it at all. Anyone that thinks like we're saying it's not him, no, the feds are saying that's him on the roof and that he took the shot. So we're saying, show us the evidence. It's an opposite. You're reversing the claim here. We're saying what we at Dark Times with Dark Matt Steve are saying is that we are not convinced by the evidence that the feds have shown us and the narrative that they are giving us for this. Also, the timeline doesn't match up, guys. We're going to go over this again. I talked about this before, but the messages on Discord, guys, I've been on this, the whole time. We've been keeping up with this. The messages on Discord, the timeline doesn't add up. They can show Tyler Robinson was in custody like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the Discord messages where he admits what he did were supposedly ever sent. There's so much wrong with this case, guys. It's not even like we're not crazy. I'm so happy to see people still going along with this and trying to figure out what the fuck happened. I am happy to see it because, I went on a hunch from day one and we've been on to something. We really have. And I get people don't like Candace Owens for whatever reason. Maybe it's because she literally entertains every idea about this. But that's no crime to me.
Room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white Freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him so that
he cut the shirt off. Broken Blister up in here. What's up? Crazy how they're trying to turn this into the next JFK conspiracy. Who's they? You mean they, or like they as in the conspiracy people? Or are you talking about they?
I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them on drugs and defibrillator. And so then, once you get that cut shirt.
They, them, there. Yeah. What are the pronouns?
Shirt cut off and moved out of the way. There's enough of medical professionals in there. And so I just want to get out of their way. And so got out of their way and walked out of the room and then stood outside the room and held guard on the outside door of the room so nobody else could come in there.
Candace is not convinced by that, I can tell.
I genuinely do not possess in my vocabulary enough adjectives to describe the absurdity of the scene that Brian Harpole just tried to convey to audience. It's different.
The notorious they Blister. Okay. I see where you're cooking with fire. Okay.
Difficult you just have to have, you don't even have to have a shred of common sense. You could have less than a shred of common sense. Ever been to a doctor? Ever been to a hospital? Like, this guy walked in like he was the mayor. He grabs a gurney. He wheels the gurney himself into a room. He then jumps on top of Charlie. Don't know where he got the scissors from. You would think they would have been available to him.
Thanks, funny face.
In the car, he got a pair of scissors. He's barking orders. He then cuts Charlie's shirt off for them because he's got this all under control. People are just looking around like, this guy is amazing. He then starts giving them information, even though you would have thought that happened on the phone. We still can't figure out who in the car called 911, and we can't.
Bro, listen, so I don't, Sniz, I gotta let Candace play some of this. I do like talking with the chat and, you know, getting a little pushback and stuff because, guys, I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm just like, you know, trying to figure it out. We're feeling around in the dark here, but it seems like we are not completely lost. That's the weird thing. That's like, it's a really profound feeling. He's saying the feds wanted Kirk gone, but why? So no, not necessarily. Dude, I don't know. Listen, I don't know if our greatest ally had something to do with this or not, because Charlie Kirk was starting to really have public beef with, I'll just say it, Israel. And, bro, just imagine, listen, as much covering as our fucking government does. You remember we talked about the USS Liberty deal, that incident, and Thomas Massey talking to the survivors and stuff. We went over that stuff. And remember how part of that whole thing was how the government seemed to actually help to cover up what happened. You remember that? So this was where the Israeli government actually, destroyed a U.S. Navy vessel. I forget when this was, in the 70s? Something I don't remember. But anyway, and it was like over 100 some people got like killed, injured, all this stuff. And they, I think it's pretty much consensus amongst the survivors of the USS Liberty incident that was on purpose. That they knew that the USS Liberty was an American ship and the Israeli military tried to destroy it on purpose. Even though the Israeli military claims that it was an accident, they thought it was an Egyptian ship and, oh my God, we're so sorry. But there was a whole thing behind this, which I wasn't even that aware of, that the U.S. government actually seemed to help cover up what happened on behalf of Israel. This is like what I think some people may be concerned of and I mean, I'm just speculating here, but I think this is a possibility here that it might not be that the feds did this, but this could have literally been some fucking Mossad operation or some shit, because Charlie Kirk was such an influential on people, especially the young new voters. And, and maybe they wanted to take him out, and because it's our greatest ally and there's a big confliction and stuff. And there was a bunch of plans that our government had to, in merging with Israel and becoming even closer with them, that Charlie Kirk was a risk to this whole thing. So I don't know. I don't fucking know. But the FedSlop narrative just does not. Again, I'm trying to actually be charitable here. I'm actually trying. Maybe am I stupid for even trying? I am. The FedSlop narrative is fucking stupid. Let's move on. Lock in.
Find that 911 call, but they say someone did call 911. He then starts giving information about Charlie, and then he himself, they're all standing around watching this guy just do his thing. Like, he's just your regular old Superman. Everybody recognizes him from town. And then he steps back and says, okay, now I myself have decided I will back away because there's enough professionals, but I am going to talk you through what meds to give Charlie as well. I'm sorry, who are you? And then he wraps up by saying, and then I decided to walk out of the room and just guard the door. Oh, they just let you do that at hospitals? I didn't know this was an emergency scene. I've never seen this. Not even when they fake killed Jeffrey Epstein did they come up with a story that's ridiculous. They at least showed him as soon as he got to the hospital, like, no, the medical professionals just like...
Oh, God, she said his name.
Took over, obviously, because not even the people that are in the paramedics would be able to do this. You hand it over. You're now in the hospital, coming into the emergency doors. They have an emergency setup, and not even the paramedics would be allowed to do what Brian Harpole, some random dude who they don't know from a hole in the wall, has just described to Sean Ryan that he did, no questions asked. and he cut his shirt off. That's the most crucial part. He jumped on top of him. He grabbed the gurney. He picked the room. Everyone was standing.
Well, Sniz is mocking me in the chat. He's saying, oh, there we go. There it is. The Joppy Wops are good, Kenny. They got a furry freak to think he took the shot. Meanwhile, they're... Yeah, but why do you think that Tyler thinks he took the shot? Bro, Sniz, like, I know, I hope you're, for the most part, joking. And I appreciate it. But, guys, why do you think that Tyler thinks he took the shot? He's in court defending himself. He turned himself in because the cops threatened to turn his house upside down.
Around going, wow, we'll just wait until he tells us there's enough of us. Because this guy's got it. This guy's really, really got it. Why don't we just perform surgery? What are we doing here? He did it because, the defibrillator. Oh, well, you told us now you're worried about Charlie's heartbeat because you told us that you didn't even do CPR. This was an 8-minute car ride.
True.
Now you want a defibrillator to bring his heart back online. Do you know how much damage would be? Would he have 4 minutes that you can survive that heartbeat? And you weren't worried about heartbeat. Now you're worried about heartbeat. So much so that you jump onto him and cut off his shirt. Why are you saying this? This did not happen. This did not happen. Brian Harpole, you are lying through your teeth. Okay, it's no wonder Kash Patel had to swoop in there and take the cameras from inside the hospital. We were wondering why. Well, this very clearly explains why, because the story is so fantastical. There's no way in hell the FBI could have allowed us to see what went down in the hospital. Frankly, it sounds like a sitcom. Okay, Frank Turek, who didn't touch Charlie, according to Brian Harpole, according to Brian, he was just praying.
They're just trying to hide everything, guys. This is crazy. They confiscated the fucking footage from the hospital as if Charlie Kirk is a government official or something. Guys, how obviously there's something up here, right? They fucking will not give us access to the full footage of the roof that would show that guy actually took the shot, whoever's up on the roof. That would not even prove that that's Tyler Robinson, but that would prove that whoever was on the roof at least took a shot at the right exact moment. You realize this is the thing, guys. If they would at least show us, we could get somewhere. We could kind of get somewhere if they would just show us that the footage on the roof proves, it shows the guy taking the shot at the right moment. You'd be able to see the recoil on the rifle, and it would match the exact second on the timestamp of the camera that Kirk was hit. It would be almost indisputable. I would probably, guys, I would just have to say, somehow the bullet tumbled, maybe. Weird things happen. I would probably be forced to just go, you know what? All I can't explain is that the entrance wound looks a little funny and it didn't exit his body. But if the bullet just somehow tumbled, then maybe that makes sense. I don't know. They won't show us because they can't show us. This is what I suspect, is that they can't show us the full footage of the roof because that would prove the person on the roof did not take the shot. It would have to be on the very exact moment, and that's like almost impossible to line up with some fucking crazy furry that you're saying did it.
In the backseat, but for some reason, Frank notes that when he got to the hospital, he got changed. Mikey McCoy, who was a hero, found them surgical scrubs because there was blood all over him. He somehow got blood all over him, and then they all needed to change their clothes. And when he changed his clothes, he didn't even recognize at that moment that his...
It's still, no, I don't sniz. You know what? We'll check in on this a little bit. I just want to know why they redacted the emails he had with the sheriff. I don't even know about that, but I mean, that's just par for the course here. They're fucking redacting everything. They're hiding stuff so that they can, you know, that's the thing is like there's enough, they're showing us enough info that you could say, if you don't give a fuck at all, you could just say, hey, you know what? It's probably this. Yeah. You know, it's a trans furry guy. Yeah. You know what? That's trans people have been doing a lot of shootings. I believe that. And there's footage of a guy that's kind of built like him running off the roof. I don't know what's in his hand, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. Charge him. Go ahead. I don't care. Whatever. But I mean, if you're like paying attention, if you're like, you know, I'm kind of like, I care about Charlie Kirk. I don't want some random kid that's some kind of patsy to go to fucking prison when there's something bigger going on. And it might not be the thing that I speculated on earlier. I'm not saying that that's what I think happened. I'm saying that it's a possibility. I don't know if fucking Erica Kirk had anything to do with it. I don't fucking know. She acts suspicious as hell. No, we'll check what the trial things have been. This is what I don't remember what the deadline was, but I thought that the defense was still waiting to get all of the evidence from the fucking prosecution. I don't think they've even been allowed to see all the evidence yet, or that was a big whodunit for a minute. They said they needed time to get all of the just like incredible amounts of evidence they had against Tyler. It's going to take time to go through all of it and get it all to you.
Kids were still on the phone. He's not going to realize that until he gets to the hospital. Nobody really understands how he called Jack Hibbs, but he did. We have a hospital that's allowing Brian Harpole to run the op floor while Pastor Frank Turek is being styled for some unknown reason. All of this definitely happened. So I guess that's really weird. Even like if I take my kid to the emergency room, I feel like I've suddenly given them to the medical industry. You can have a baby in a hospital and they'll fight you over the child that you just...
Okay, so let's skip ahead. Email about... Okay, so let's skip ahead here. You got the gist of that with the Brian Harpole deal. She don't trust this motherfucker. Let's skip ahead to the email thing. This is where it gets real weird with the road mic deal. We'll try to catch up on the trial stuff too. I want to get this through this segment. Then she's got an update with more stuff on the road mic thing from yesterday's show, and then we'll see what the updates on the trial are in a minute. Okay.
The EL is a hand crank, height adjustable table. The unit adjusts from 30 to 42 inches.
What the fuck is this? Bro, this is the second time this ad has come up. This might actually, unironically, I'm not exaggerating, this may be the most retarded, ugly fucking desk I have ever seen. Guys, we have to look at this. Look at this desk.
Rate the unit at 330 pounds, even though the hydraulic system will lift 500 pounds. The reason we do that, it is a modular design, and we anticipate that you're going to order at least 170 pounds worth of accessories to bolt onto it.
500-pound hydraulics. Is this supposed to be a fucking mechanic's workbench or an office desk? What the fuck? Where are we?
It is a hand crank height adjustable table with a true ergonomic design where the accessories adjust with the work surface. Because of that, you're also lifting the weight of those as well. Now,
This thing takes 40 days and 40 nights to put together, too.
the base ergo line comes with a work surface, a fully welded top frame.
I jack it there, funny face. You know what? If they gave it to me for free, I would. This is part of the problem, too. I don't like the work desk where it's got the middle like this. And you can't, like, I feel like if I sat here, I couldn't pull all the way in. You know, and I don't, I mean, this is going to end up being the backsplash if you get my drift. Maybe that's a good thing. Honestly, that might be a good design. All right, let's skip ahead.
Again, we're running the scenario that this could be an inside job. That would mean that the feds came in to do a cleanup job of the evidence, which would have included, as we mentioned before, the car. Right? This was the most compelling piece of evidence that we were never supposed to have. Right? The car was sent for a tow, a cleanup, an auction, all very expeditiously. They didn't want to keep this for evidence. But of course, John Bray, who immediately identified the mic as the potential source of a shaped charge explosion, was on the pursuit looking for shattered ABS glass from the Rode Wireless Pro. Unbeknownst to me, I got this evidence, and it's the first thing he saw. I'm very convinced by his arguments, but to play devil's advocate, I had to imagine that it could have been maybe a pair of sunglasses that were accidentally stepped on and then shattered all across the floorboard. I had that scenario at a very low probability, but nonetheless, it's good not to convince yourself of what you're seeing. But I can now state confidently that I believe the bits that were on the floorboard of the SUV are indeed Charlie's shattered Rode mic, because one of you sleuths reached out to us with a rather fine detail. I love you guys. You're always paying attention. I'm just going to read the email. It says, "Hi, Candace and team. This may be nothing, but I believe you guys need to try and enhance the images on the back
at it again.
Back of the SUV, specifically the black shards, because when I look at the images unenhanced, there seems to be a number of the shards that have white on them, both on the floor and the crease of the seats. See screenshots of the videos that you shared from the show. If you study the images of the Rode Wireless Go microphone, they have several white details on them. And if you can enhance the SUV images, I'm confident that you'll be able to identify parts of the microphone body by the shards. I'd also be interested to see an image from a different angle so that we can see the piece that I have indicated by an arrow on the one image. Again, it could be nothing, but I think you guys will have access to much better enhancement tools as well as all the angles. I just have a feeling that those little shards with the white on them hold the key to whether your suspicion about the exploding mic is plausible. All the best." Well, what do you know? Here are the images that they attached from our earlier show, and they were circling what they thought could be some white on them, which would be like the Rode microphone. Of course, it does say Rode on it in white. Do we have?
Okay, let me get this bigger for you guys so you can see what's kind of going on here.
That Rode image too of the mic. There you go. So this is what they're looking for. They're going, actually, there's writing on that. So if it was all over him, you're going to get pieces that have white on it. And so we enhance the images. And I am further compelled that this person is correct. I will show you this, particularly because I thought you could say, oh, maybe that's a sun glint here and there. Not on that piece on the right-hand corner. That is white on there. And on some other pieces, we can go closer here so that this person can see it even better. That's white. This is not someone's sunglasses that we are looking at. I can show you another more enhanced photos here, particularly that one in the right corner is just so obviously a piece of a shard of something. And I believe this is Charlie's Rode microphone. This person was on the money. There is white. There's predictable white, of course, on the edges. That sort of happens when you shatter glass in general. But I also wanted to show you guys these, hyper-focused pieces so that you could see that this person is definitively onto something. Now, I also want to show you, because there's a pocket of the internet for everything, a video of some guy on YouTube who just decided to break his Rode wireless mic for funsies. Nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk case.
Check this out, guys.
Not sure the context of this, assuming this guy's super rich, because this is like $1,500 to purchase these things. But let's take a listen.
I am basically going to destroy my Rode Wireless Pros. I still use these things and love them, but in my review, I talked about this candy mirror finish and how nothing sticks to it.
Starts breaking it. You can see that's what it looks like is on the car floorboard.
No kidding. Okay. We're very carefully getting under here, and
I just farted. Did anybody hear that?
I'm splintering glass bits all over the place. So at this point, I'm going to...
Oh, Bob, Buzzer Bob up in here. What's up, sir? Buzzer Bob ass specifically. Welcome. Good to see you. I've been good. How you been, Bob?
Say it's safe to say, don't do this at home. Also, it kind of makes sense that this is glass, because if you think about like iPhones, they have that glass backing for antennas and such. So I guess that's where the antenna is on here. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what's up. At the very least, now we get to see what's underneath a Rode Wireless Pro.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Swing, a new series coming soon to all social media platforms. I'm your girl, Monica.
I'm your boy.
You guys are AI, and it's depressing that some people might actually click on this or watch it or anything.
That is what it looks like is on the floorboard of the vehicle that transported Charlie. That is a very solid and plausible theory, which I feel is now strengthened. Of course, beyond that, there is also the curious case of the witness tree. We covered this a little bit yesterday. The people who were first to speak to the media and set the narrative. They're the most crucial people. Some people call these people crisis actors, talking about what happened. So when people are looking for information, they stumble upon these people and they say, hey, Charlie's been hit in the chest. And we can describe to you how he was hit in the chest. That definitely happened. We showed you one student in particular, a young woman named Sarah Toole.
She said it.
But yesterday, the internet quickly discovered that after she gave her first testimony with Fox 13, claiming in detail, along with others, that he was shot in the chest, suddenly 51 minutes later, she went back onto camera with local media and completely changed her story. Here is her first interview to jog your memory.
So basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
Can you describe did he appear?
Yeah, like the blood was just gushing out of his heart. Yeah, it's crazy.
To be moving afterward or what?
Not at all. I personally believe he was dead on impact.
You heard the one shot. Were there multiple shots or?
Just one shot straight into Charlie Kirk, and that was it. And I think they got him.
And did you see the person who fired the shot or anything?
Yeah, they got him. It was a really good shot. Yeah, they got him right in the chest. I saw the blood pouring out. Oh my God. He was squirting. They got him really good. You know what? It was a good shot. I'll have to say, I really it's a good shot. I mean, we're being objective here. I'm not giving an opinion. I'm not saying I'm not implying it's good. Do I sound like I'm too positive about this? I mean, but it was a good shot. I mean, objectively, it was a good shot.
Like that?
No, I just knew that it came to the right of me and went just directly into his heart.
I just knew it was the right thing. It came to the right of me. Yeah, I saw it.
I got a picture of him.
Did you what did you see as far as how was the crowd reacting to him? I mean, he is somewhat known.
Guys like that? People are laughing. We got a gusher, yes. Yeah, we got a gusher. We had a gusher out there. Fucking gushing. It was kind of rude, actually. He was just spraying blood everywhere.
for being provocative. But what was going on beforehand? What was he talking about?
So the first student got up and they were talking about religion, Mormonism, and Christianity. And the second student to get up was talking about transgenderism and how gun violence has been very frequent with that community. And that is when it happened. Pretty ironic.
Right, like right after, during, right on that topic.
Yeah, it's when he got shot in the heart.
Why is this fucking bitch so happy about it?
There's 4 people that are in attendance. One of them is her mother. No one is disputing what she said. They were in the 4th row, and she says directly hit his heart, came from her right side. Okay, that's pretty descriptive. That's what she said at 1:17 p.m. But then just 50 minutes later, she gives another interview, and her story has changed. This is given at around 2:08 p.m. Take a listen.
And then after that, they had another student step up to talk about transgenderism and the violence and gun violence that's been surrounding that recently. And that is when Charlie Kirk was shot. It was in the neck, and I watched the blood just spurt out all over his body as he slumped over and fell down. I believe that he was dead on impact, but it sounds like he is in critical condition. So big prayers going out to him, hoping that everything is okay.
Oh, yeah, she's super concerned now.
That is...
Not only has she changed her story, but she changed her demeanor. That's good. That's good. I like it, actually. I support this.
Remarkable. That is remarkable. Directly to his heart, to now on the left side of his neck. But she wasn't done, because then she went big time. She spoke to ABC News, and this time her memory is just getting better and better. She's even able to confirm how many yards away the bullet was fired from, and it incredibly matches the distance to Losi Center. She becomes an expert in sound ballistics. Take a listen.
So I was in the 4th row in the courtyard where Charlie Kirk was. I was a little to his left, and the shooter was to my right. So, and even if you were looking at Charlie Kirk from the front, the shooter was still to the right and just got him right in the neck, blood gushing everywhere. A friend of mine and I ran into the building and ran out the building. It's like the exit pathway, and just kept running, crossing streets, like just trying to get to safety.
And so you think the shooter was to the right of you based on what you heard and what you saw?
Yes, correct. Yeah, it went right into his left side, and the shooter was from my right, and even in the middle was still to the right. And I'm pretty sure you had somebody say this earlier, but I think it was about 200 yards away.
It was about 200. How? How did she know that? How does she now?
How does this fucking retard blonde lady have any clue how many yards away that gunshot came from? I'm fucking done.
Suddenly know that it hit him in the neck versus what she graphically described as.
Guys, how do we know the Mormons weren't involved in this too? They're in the middle of the Utah Lego debacle. How do we know the Mormons weren't involved in this? Maybe we got it all wrong. It wasn't the Jews, it was the Mormons. Could we be onto something here? Was it the Mormons? And they're covering all this up, and the little Mormon freaks like this blonde bitch going on TV to fucking lie to everybody?
Hitting him directly in the heart, as she points center. What changed? In short, none of that makes any sense. It's hard to make sense of it outside of all of these mysterious pieces falling together when we examine the exploding mic theory. Here's our update. It's good to organize this stuff and to take a look at it. Our updated chart of everything magically falling into place when we consider this theory. Bomb dogs being kept away from the scene. Why the crime scene was immediately paved over and the soil was excavated. Why the Fed.
Our 7th greatest ally, the Mormons, yes. Kirk knew who had the stolen Legos. Maddie's onto it. Maddie's investigating the connection right now. I think he's onto something.
We're searching for Charlie Kirk's necklace. It explains why there appears to be shattered black ABS glass all over the SUV, why there is no available footage or any eyewitness reports of someone seen firing a shot from a Losi building, despite this being an active campus in the middle of the day, why the feds did not conduct a standard gunshot residue test when Tyler Robinson was brought in. It explains why Terrell Farnsworth violated the crime scene to remove the back footage. It's almost like he got updated. Like, oh crap, it hit his neck. We got to pull that footage because we're going to need to explain that. Why didn't it go? We got a 30-06. It explains why there was unusually no ambulance on standby. The paramedics would have likely seen that shattered glass from road mic pieces and other evidence which would not have supported a gunshot to the neck. It explains why Erica was quick to forgive Tyler Robinson. It explains why Brian Harpole cut off Charlie's shirt in a scene described by him, which definitively did not happen. And if it did happen, this hospital should be shut down. If that scene did happen, this hospital is insecure and it should be shut down. But it's not a safe place to take anybody. If randos can run in and start directing doctors and jump on top of people and cut off their shirts and decide to perform security on rooms, then this hospital, Timpanogos, should be shut down. That's my perspective.
Okay, so she's going to get next. She's getting into the Lance Twiggs stuff. I forget what they said. He won't be brought into court for whatever, cross-examined, I think. We might get to that later. I just wanted to make sure that we get through. It's already 9:15. I want to make sure we get through all of the road mic stuff that's been breaking through Candace and these other people. Here, let me get you guys to the next video. Now, this next one is from yesterday again.
Right.
Here we go.
We hear everything and miss nothing. An amplified ride synced to our nature. Awaken the instinct. Senna, ride connected.
Albion Online is a
That's how they got Paul Walker.
sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story.
No other way to insert your no other.
Okay. Right, this is hospital car ride. Is this not the one with the, hold on. Oh, wait, I think it is. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, let's start this over back here. Okay. Okay.
Spend a little
Oh, cool. More ads.
less, sleep a little more.
Every lending decision carries two risks: approving someone who can't repay and rejecting someone.
Found some scissors and cut his t-shirt off from his body. I mean, what in the fantasy series are we even talking about? Not even in the fictional world of Grey's Anatomy, because they want it to be realistic. I think Brian is a liar, liar, pants on fire. Boy, oh boy, do I love you sleuths back home. Okay, I have to tell you, crowdsourcing to solve a globally consequential murder. This might be the first time it's ever been done in the history of the world, but it should not be the last time. Check out this email that we got yesterday in response to our show that we presented when another sleuth that actually happened to notice yesterday, that mysterious white on the black tempered glass shards that were shattered in the back of the SUV. That sleuth from yesterday pointed to the plausibility that Charlie's road mic was rigged to explode. They said, look, there's white on some of these pieces, Candace. Well, then we had someone send us an email and they started putting the pieces together. One crucial piece. They wrote, "Dear Candace and team, I'm watching your show from earlier today. I'm in France and I had to stop watching when you showed the shards after reading that email. I quickly spotted the USB logo on the shard at the 15-minute, 30-second mark, the one to the left of the screen closer to you. And I wanted to check it.
Yeah, dude. So when we had it pulled up, I almost said something because I noticed it there too. Even though I knew that someone had seen that someone had matched up the USB logo with some shard in a picture, but I didn't know what picture it was from and what shard it was. But when she showed the picture in the last episode we just had pulled up, I noticed the USB thing and I was like, oh shit, there it is. No, they're right.
Please see below. All I did was screenshot your video and rotate the bit with the shard to line it up with a promo shot of the road mic. I think there's no room for doubt here. It's clearly the USB logo and or icon. Game over. Feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. I'm going to show you. This is what they attached to like from our show, the picture. And they then obviously flipped it and showed that that was the USB. I think this is incredible. Legendary.
Yeah, so this is, if we go to the picture of the shards, it's not facing this direction. It's actually like rotated like that. But yeah, it definitely appears to be the USB logo on the side.
Inspector gadget finding. We did it ourselves. We can blow up that image and rotate it.
Here, let me make this bigger so you guys can see kind of what we're talking about here. Look at that. You see, this is the plastic piece on this side, and you can see this part with the arm coming up and this part coming.
As well, and put it side by side with the Rode Mic's UBS icon.
It definitely looks like it.
So that really is something I do feel like this is what we have to do. We have to get really molecular to close this case. I do believe firmly that it was Charlie's road mic bits that were shattered all over the car floor. And by the way, you guys were so in the weeds on this that I even had opticians emailing me to inform me that it was not possible for it to be sunglasses on the ground. The emails were like, hey, I don't know if you know this about sunglasses, but they're actually not allowed to shatter like that. There's a whole process in how they're created because obviously they are covering people's eyes, so they cannot create them in a circumstance in which they might shatter and glass would get all over people's eyes, which is why, generally speaking, you know, if you break your sunglasses, if you break your glasses, they maybe crack or the lens just pops out of the frame. And it was amazing. I'm learning so much. And she sent me step by step of the qualifications, what they have to pass, the inspections they have to pass. Anyway, this brings us to Brian's
CJ, welcome. Thanks for joining us. My man, talented AF, wife beater, ? Florida, appreciate. Yeah, Yeah, I'm up in Florida. No, for realsies, I would either be shirtless or it would be tank top. Because right now my AC is struggling with the Florida heat, bro. For real. For real. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Talented AF. By the way, guys, I'm hoping I have got a parody song almost completely written. Almost done. So we'll see. It's about Tuttle banging mentally handicapped people, and I'm hoping the lyrics aren't too crazy. They're not that crazy, but we use the word we say retard in the song several times. In fact, it's part of the chorus. So I'm hoping that's not a problem. But I think I think Bubba might actually like it and want to play it and be down to. I think we're on like okay terms, but and it's about Tuttle and stuff too. You know, the last things I sent in, it was more just like stuff about politics and, J.E., the man, the person. So whatever. I don't know. This one's about Tuttle and something that happened on the show. So maybe he'll play it. But I'm hoping that the lyrics aren't a problem. And I'm going to send in a censored version with the R word removed just in case that's like a problem. Because it's not like crucial to the song being funny, I guess. He can just say like, oh, the song is called R word this. And so you'll know when the bleep comes up, you know what anyway, and then play it. Doesn't parody Dominoes? No, bro, we're staying away from that. If, if having a good relationship with Bubba means that I have to endorse Domino's, I can find a way to do that, okay? We'll make that happen. I will say from the chain pizza places, I'm not joking, unironically, not fucking around or trolling or pandering, Domino's is the best out of the chain ones. The Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Domino's trifecta, you know? Domino's is the best. I swear. Pizza Hut has some kind of weird spices that always fuck up my stomach, and then when I take a shit the next day, it smells like shit and Pizza Hut. Like they put too much stuff in it to where it just like completely I don't know how to, it's like it just like layers your insides with whatever they put on it. And I don't think it's actual spices. I think it's chemicals. Pretty sure it's chemicals. So I don't like Pizza Hut. And Papa John's, if you don't eat Papa John's in the first hour while it's hot, when you get it, it's like it starts to decay. You cannot, Papa John's the next day is disgusting. Domino's beats both of those out in all those areas. Domino's is fucking amazing the next day, microwaved or put in the oven. And it doesn't fuck my stomach up and give me weird shits the next day. But yeah, I don't eat pizza much. I don't do many cheat meals. But if I was to pick one of the 3 chain restaurants, it would for sure be Domino's and not just a pander to Bubba. Smells like a Pizza Hut bathroom, bro. Yes, the Pizza Hut bathroom. Jesus Christ.
Tokyo movie, the emergency room edition. Because why exactly did Brian Harpole spin such an extraordinary tale? A tale that I can tell you has upset deeply people who work in emergency rooms.
Bro, the ingredients of Domino's is like better than what Papa John's uses. I have a friend that's worked at both Papa John's and Domino's, and we both agree that theirs is better. Domino's cheesesteak is pretty good. I don't even know if I've had that. It sounds fucking delicious. I think I probably have. Never had Papa John's? Good. You're not missing out. It's pretty disgusting. It's not worth risking your reputation to buy from a place that's associated with, I don't even know what happened, but somebody said the N-word. Right?
All around the world. A frankly implausible story because outside of blatant corruption, incompetence, a flagrant violation of every known law and hospital policy on the books, we can assume Brian Harpole is telling a porcupine, right? So let's at first re-listen to his extraordinary story because it is important and it requires our imagination. Take a listen.
We get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Well, once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white Freedom shirt.
We're going over this again. God damn it! You better have something good. What was it? What's going on, Candace? I don't want to go through this again. We heard this. He cut off the shirt. He did. Let's hear it. What's the problem?
Room so nobody else can come in there.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that when I go to the ER. I'm not going to wait in line. I'm going to grab gurneys. I'm going to start telling them what kind of drugs to give them and guard the doors. So we have to ask ourselves, what is Brian Harpole trying to answer for here with his story, right? He's actually admitting something. Common sense, every fib that is told is only told because you're trying to cover up a truth or explain a truth that might not make sense, right? So what Brian is, I think, rather truthfully admitting here is that he was the person responsible for the removal of Charlie Kirk's shirt, right? No other reason to insert yourself into that narrative unless that piece is true, which as we explore our rigged microphone theory is an admission that Brian Harpole would be the person responsible for removing the biggest piece of explosive residue evidence, Charlie's shirt. He is attempting to make that sound reasonable to the public. I was worried about the defibrillator, and that's the reason why I cut Charlie's shirt, in case you find that that shirt had been cut using scissors later down the line. Now, since I do not accept that a random dude took command over a hospital ER.
Scott had Domino's for dinner tonight, base. I wonder if it's one of the stores that Tom Bean owns.
Roman was grabbing gurneys and was allowed to freely jump across on top of, a bleeding victim with a pair of scissors in hand. Is this the person who harmed him? I don't accept any of this. I have to then logically consider that Brian removed Charlie's shirt somewhere else, right? And the only other option would be in the car on the way over to the hospital. Now, beyond anything else, the story that Brian tells us about what did happen in the car does not match the evidence of what we see in the photos that we were never supposed to have in our possession. These photos were never supposed to see the light of day. So let's review Brian's claims so that you understand them, okay? First, we submit to you all a graphic of how they all piled into the car.
So crunchy. One training for the world.
Snack time's easiest to guess. My team doesn't charge me a fee just for having a checking account.
My team gives back to the community.
Okay, so we are in a GMC SUV. You've got Dan Flood there in the passenger seat. You got Justin Davis driving. We have Brian Harpole, Rick Cutler in that middle row. Charlie is going to be across them. You note his legs are hanging out of the door. We're going to discuss that in a second. And in the back seat to himself is Frank Turek. So here are the facts based off of Brian Harpole's testimony.
Frank just back there chilling, just vibing.
You know, they have different testimonies, but Brian Harpole's testimony regarding that short journey to the hospital is about 8 minutes away. If you look that up just on Google Maps, that's if you're doing the speed limit. But they were not doing the speed limit. Brian makes it clear that they were going 60, 80, 100 miles per hour. That's what he says. We're going 60, 80, 100 miles per hour, weaving through the streets. So what we can reasonably deduce from that statement is that there was no traffic on their way to the hospital. You can't hit those speeds if there is traffic. And so they probably arrived faster than the 8-minute Google Maps estimation. We can safely assume that means that they shaved off a couple of minutes, approximately, let's say, a 6-minute ride. I think that's fair, right? It's also important to note that Brian claims that they did not close the car door, which was behind him as he was working on Charlie, where he was sitting, right? He says it was because Charlie's legs were too long and they just needed to quickly get out of there. If you go back and watch footage of them pulling out, you can indeed see that the door is ajar. So let's assume that's true. And instead, how they dealt with this door, which was open while they're doing 60, 80, 100 miles per hour, is Rick Cutler holds Brian Harpole steady as Brian is working on Charlie. Okay, so he's trying to stop the bleeding in his neck, according to Brian Harpole. And Rick Cutler is basically, he's entrusting his life to Rick Cutler. Take a listen to Brian's own words on this.
The problem is we're going down the road and Charlie's so tall that his left leg is down in the door and the door won't close. And so I'm on my knees with the door open with my butt hanging out of the side and I'm on my knees doing the medical. And Justin's driving, you know, we're going 60, 80, 100. And Rick has me across the kit in my shirt so that I can use both hands to do the medical on. And so I don't fall out of the car. So I don't fall out. And I just look at him and I don't need to say, you got me. He's got me. I know he's got me. Rick's a brother. He's got the tattoo. And so I was like, he's got me. And so I'm just working medical. And Frank's praying out loud. Rick's praying out loud.
Okay, so if you're imagining that, we're going to try to do like a really sloppy AI to present that to you. But if you're thinking, by the way, hey, Frank's in the back seat, he's not doing anything. Could he maybe just kind of lean over and close the door? Well, you heard him. Frank, according to Brian, was simply praying in the back seat. He's on his knees on the ground. We've got Rick Cutler reaching over to him. And he then claims that during this time, while Rick is holding him, Rick is busy, Frank's praying. You got those other two in the front.
Frank's just vibing, y'all.
He's going to put 36 feet of dressing around Charlie's neck. 36 feet. I want you to hear him say that's a remarkable amount. Very short drive. He's working, like he says, quickly. Take a listen.
I've got to stop that bleeding. That's my primary thing. And so whether he had a pulse then, it's unknown. The body's an amazing thing that can do things even when it's technically, destroyed. And so my concern is bleed control. And so I'm just, Rick's got me, Justin's driving, World's coming by. I'm working, I end up putting about 36 feet of dressing in him, and then 4 4x4s and then 2 hemostatic 4x4s. Sheesh.
Now, again, I'm wondering, could Frank Turk come in for an assist here? But he does make it clear that he doesn't know whether or not Charlie has a pulse. They're not doing CPR because his focus is on getting his wound dressed. And he also says the human body's amazing. I mean, we've learned that. It's so amazing. It's not the 30-6, 3,000 pounds of energy coming at him in a bullet. So why not just keep going? Let's just hope for more miracles here, not check his pulse and not do CPR and just worry about stopping the bleeding with 36 feet of dressing. And he repeats that story to Paramount Not So Tactical in a separate interview. Take a listen.
We're getting off the X, and so I'm on my knees, and I'm both hands, and I'm starting to pile out like back pressure, exactly. And it's the saturation point's unbelievable, and you're not pulling it out, you're adding to it, right? And so we're getting that done in there. I remember, it's a training point we've done to it before, and there has to be a better way, like a manufacturer. Maybe we can go input. It's like that little slit on the side of those.
You're talking about the hemostatic gauze?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, guys.
I usually go in and actually cut them a little bit more.
But then, it's like, we need something to pull. We need something real time. And so I'm opening those with my mouth and then putting them down and then spreading it out a little bit and put them down so I can get it back in that. And then I'm holding it there and then working off the other one.
Okay. So 12 yards, 36 feet. He's opening the packs. He's talked about, he's got 2 packs of this with his mouth, discussing how difficult it is to open those packs. Miraculously, there's no evidence of that in the car. What there is evidence of is that he used 1 4x4 EMS quick clot dressing, which he admits he used that, just 1 pack. Here's the picture. We can actually look at the floor and we have the entire floor of the back of where he was. And you can see that he's got that 1 pack, which he potentially opened with his mouth.
What is this though? Maybe this is another pack or so. What is this?
On the side, all of that looks to be a fact check true. And I just want you to see that this is 4x4 dressing. Here's the actual pack that's available online. I don't know what to think about why there's not more, why we can't see more. If he's pulling out all of this on the ground, I would expect to see more unless they mysteriously cleaned up the other packs that he was opening. No, those 4x4 packs, those are just 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, nowhere near the 12 feet, the 36 feet that he's talking about. Now, he certainly, and it sounds like, also had a roll of dressing, but those are sold at just 4 yards a roll. So why on earth did Brian have handy 6 rolls of dressing in his small medical bag in addition to clotting packages? That just seems to me to be very excessive, and like we should see some evidence of that on the ground. Okay, I'm just asking you to park that information in the back of your mind. There's a reason for that. If we continue to look at the actual evidence of the car, we then have to ask ourselves, what could account for Frank Turek's, and it has to be a lie, according to Brian Harpole, it's a lie. Frank Turek says that he himself, Frank, tried to start CPR. And to be clear, we can immediately determine that Frank Turek is likely the one lying in that scenario and not Brian Harpole, because Charlie was lying across the seats. Okay. His middle section was therefore not flat. You cannot conduct emergency CPR on a person that is laying across 2 captain chairs with their midsection in the air. Brian, both of his hands are occupied. He would be.
Bro, is that for real? It's been hard to keep up with everything. Frank Turek said he tried to do CPR.
It's not an ideal position at all, but like he's the person that would be in the position to address Charlie's chest area. It's not possible. Okay. You need a flat surface to do CPR. Everybody knows this. And Brian has already admitted that it was him that was on the floor, down on one knee beside the chair because Charlie's legs were dangling off. Okay. Here's a very bad AI diagram that we're trying to show you of what Brian Harpole is saying happened, right? Brian would probably be a little more backed up toward the end there. And of course, we know Rick is going to be pulled over to the side holding on to him. Frank Turek is in the back seat. You're not conducting CPR in this environment. I cannot stress enough that CPR could not have been conducted in that car. Brian is telling the truth twice when he says that. He focused on the bleeding, he says. So why is there this disconnect? Why not just simply say, if you're Frank Turek, yeah, I was just praying in the back. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you why I think, similar to what I said before, when you are telling a little bit of a porky pie, the rule is because you're trying to introduce a truth that doesn't really make sense. Okay. So here's what I think, not what I know. This is the allegedly, if OJ Simpson did it. Okay. Not fact, my opinion, allegedly. I suspect that the CPR story, which cannot be true, and which Brian Harpole says is not true, was necessary because Frank needed an excuse for why he changed into hospital scrubs when he got to the hospital. Remember, Frank did not help carry Charlie into the back of the car. He did not run over to Charlie when Charlie got hit. He never traverses over Charlie's body or near the men that were holding him to get into the car. Do not forget, Frank climbed into the SUV from the trunk. He didn't even have to go through, he climbed in through the trunk cleanly. Let's watch Frank get into the car, courtesy of Terrell Farnsworth. Take a look at this.
Oh my God, this is so funny, guys. Let me show you. I'm trying to find different stuff on this. I think this Frank Turk performance, I do feel like I remember this being said before, that he claimed he performed CPR and that people thought it was bullshit. It's so funny. Let me just show you. I'm on a different tab on Twitter, and look what's coming up here. It's the same video, but it's from a different episode of Candace where she's showing this video. This is from way back in November 10th of last year, where she's showing this video, and it shows that Frank is getting into the fucking trunk of the SUV. You know, like, of course you're not doing fucking CPR. You're curled up in the fetal position back there praying that no one realizes you just helped murder somebody. That's what you're doing. Hold on, let me get you guys back over to the YouTube. Blood ow.
Watch that trunk. There's Frank. He's going to get in that way. Nope, Rick's going to be busy. He gets in, runs around, and opens the trunk and gets into the car. Clean. Fresh, white.
Oh. Okay.
Polo shirt. So Frank did not touch Charlie after Charlie got hit. He did not help transport Charlie into the SUV, and he entered clean through the trunk, meaning there shouldn't be any blood spill on Frank Turek, okay? He had to willfully hop over from the trunk to even get into the back seat in the first place. The back seat, which should have been clean, according to the story that Brian is telling. So given those facts and given Brian's testimony that Frank just prayed while they worked, how did he get so much blood on him? He certainly should not have had a significant amount of blood, which required him to change his clothes into surgical scrubs at the hospital. How did he get so much blood on him? He needed a story, in my opinion. I tried to start CPR. We tried to do CPR. That's why I was touching Charlie. By the way, I want to be clear, there's no such thing as we when it comes to the physical touch of CPR. One person conducts the CPR. Another person might help count, breathe into the mouth. But delivering chest impressions is not a team sport. You can switch on and off. Brian says we didn't do that. And the person, we didn't even know if he had a pulse. That's what he said. Why would you conduct CPR if you're not, none of it makes any sense. And like I said, the person who would have been in the worst possible position to give compressions to Charlie's chest outside the driver would be the man from the trunk, amidst 36 feet of gauze being unrolled and wrapped around somebody's neck. So what do our eyes tell us happened in this car? When we look at the shards, when we listen to Frank's discrepancy, when we listen to Brian's discrepancy, they're implausible stories. One trying to suggest why he cut off the shirt, the other one trying to suggest why he had so much blood that he needed to change, okay? Let's consider this a critical thinking exercise. Again, we're theorizing here, not a fact, an opinion, okay? We used to be able to do this, think critically from the evidence that we can see in our car. It looks to me like we can conclude firmly that Frank did indeed touch Charlie, and he got a lot of blood on his hands in the process. How do we know? Look at the back seat where only Frank was sitting. Here are the photos that we showed you. We're going to zoom in here. Okay, forget the brown bag, but let's zoom in to see there's blood on the seat. That looks to me like somebody just sort of wiped their hands that had blood on their seat. Okay, it looks like someone who was sitting in the back seat wiped onto the leather seats. Okay, that's got to be Frank Turk. Do we agree that Brian Harple didn't jump over to the seat to wipe his hand? That Rick Cutler couldn't have because he's 100 miles per hour. Most likely that's Frank Turek who was sitting in the back seat praying. And it also looks like they used that brown paper, looks like an Uber bag, to wipe their hands onto the bag. Now that could have been Brian. Maybe they passed it back and forth. Who knows? Like I said, Frank was the only person in the back seat. So the natural question arises, now that we're removing the plausibility of CPR, for what reason did Frank touch Charlie to the point that he may have acquired a lot of blood on his hands and a lot of blood on his clothes? So here, again, is my theory, not a fact. That could make sense. I'm going to tell you a story. Just a tale. If I did it. All of them climbed into the car. The door was indeed left open. And so Rick Cutler's hands were indeed tied up, making sure that Brian did not fall out. Brian Harple then whipped out his medical scissors, which are always pretty much safely in any medical bag. You're going to have a small set of scissors. And he began cutting Charlie's shirt off of him in the car with about 5 to 6 minutes on the clock. Now, you should understand that it is not easy to cut through cotton using medical scissors. That's not what they're designed for. So with Rick Cutler's hands tied up, holding Brian so that he wouldn't fall out of the car, Frank leaned over for the assist. Okay. Any person who has ever worked with fabric knows you need the tension of someone pulling the shirt to cut through it quickly, right? That's going to be your easiest option, is to try to cut through it and have someone pull to provide the tension so that it slices through. Once the shirt was cut, they lifted up Charlie to pull it from under him. And that's where all our road mic glass went. All of the shattered road glass pieces that were on Charlie under him got wiped off of his body, brushed onto the floor, right? Landed onto the ground. Now we're getting close to the hospital. Brian then realizes we should have been providing neck assistance, not cutting off his shirt. And so he grabs a pack, maybe 2, of Quick Clot to put on Charlie's neck, because otherwise there wouldn't have been any evidence that anybody was working on him on that very short ride as they were going to receive them at the hospital. The very same reason that they didn't put him into an ambulance potentially is because they needed to remove Charlie's shirt and did not want people to ask questions about why or notice that there was this microphone bits that were all over Charlie's body. Now, under that totally imagined scenario, that would of course mean that Charlie arrived at the hospital without a shirt on. He was shirtless, which would have been an inexplicable oddity that would require, well, Kash Patel's FBI team to swoop in and to seize the cameras expeditiously, which they did. We didn't understand at the time. Why would they seize the cameras on the outside?
Aha! No, this is actually making sense. Unironically, this is probably exactly what happened.
Side and on the inside of the hospital, we asked ourselves. That might be why. Again, we're using our imagination here. It makes sense to me that there was an oddity on camera with how Charlie showed up in that SUV, whether it was the wrong time, maybe, but I think it was his condition. Okay. Because it would have been an impossible thing to explain if for some reason somebody had leaked the footage of inside of the hospital emergency room. It's a lie so stupid to say that you jumped on top of him, all of which would have been filmed, right? FBI just got to step in and clean that up. That's not, if that's the story we're going with, there can be no cameras of what happened on the inside. Now, why do this? Why remove his shirt? Well, because explosive residue is extremely contagious, so to speak. The microscopic particles are passed through even the most casual contact between two people. Okay, it adheres to surfaces. Explosives are substances that have adhesive energy. If Charlie were in fact killed by an explosive, everyone who came into contact with his body would have had to get rid of their clothing. No questions asked. They would have had to get. They would have said that is explosive residue. A bomb dog would have smelled that in 3 seconds. Okay, less than that. None of their clothing could have been tested, or they would have had traces of explosives. Everybody who was near him, their clothes have to be abandoned. And you sure as heck, like I said, better keep the bomb dogs at bay. So it's just as well that they all admitted and came out and talked about how they got into these scrubs. Not even that, but they also said that they threw out their clothes. But they, again, provided you with a reason. So that's not suspicious, right? Frank Turek told a story of why we'll never be able to see his clothes ever again. Take a listen.
We got to the hospital somewhere around 12:30. He was shot right, like maybe 12:20. It took us like 10 minutes to get there, maybe 15. We had no, just an SUV. We had no lights. We were just screaming.
Saw that.
Yeah. We get there. Mikey had already sent a plane to get Erica.
Right.
And she got there, I want to say about 3 o'clock. Talked to the doctor. Went up and had private time with Charlie's body, you know. It's about 5:30. I'm about the only one in the emergency room area just standing there. I'm in scrubs because
your clothes
were, yeah, I didn't want her to see any of that.
No way.
Well, two loving pastors discussing that they did this because they didn't want Erica to see him like that. He admits elsewhere he threw his clothes away. In essence, every crucial piece of evidence which might go some way of debunking the explosive theory was destroyed, given away for the almighty widow. How could you?
Bro, it's all too convenient. It's just too much.
Question it. Of course, Jack Hibbs says, of course you got rid of your clothes. Why you wouldn't want Erica to see the blood on your clothes? Yes, everything we're doing makes sense. Of course, she would want the cross. It's very convenient that everywhere there would be evidence of explosive residue got taken care of. Hey, let's repave it like tomorrow, the entire scene, because she doesn't want to relive that. Terrell, when I spoke to him, he used the widow. That was his excuse. I said, hey, why'd you take these cameras down? I didn't want Erica to relive Charlie dying.
At Car and Driver, we ask the real questions.
She hasn't even shed one real tear, and everyone's so concerned about her grieving.
Sport mode actually do anything or just add drama?
It's so weird.
And does the horn make a noise your father-in-law can respect? Car and Driver, the key to every car.
You're ready to cross the bridge to a new career and you don't have time to wait. Northbridge
Yes, I do.
University is the bridge.
I said, Terrell, what do you mean? It's all over the internet. Why specifically the back cameras? You know, I spoke to Erica and I didn't want her to relive another angle of Charlie dying. It's all very convenient. The widow is the most convenient person in the story. If it's a cleanup job. We don't know. We know. We know. We'll be right back after the break. All right, you guys, our great nation turns 250 this year. 2.5.
What's this now? Hospital car ride, identity disorder. What do we got going on here? Okay, well, we're gonna move on. It's 9:45, so let's check up here. So with the case, let me get you guys over to this tab. Plateau. Charlie Kirk murder suspect ex-roommate can't testify at hearing. Judge rules. Why, oh why, won't they let the furry testify? Let's go down here and figure this out. Actually, I'm going to need to hit this bong real quick in order to fucking get through this fucking bullshit. Hold on. I'm still here. I'm right here. Just like, hold on. Just respect for TOS, whatever. Oh, damn it. Almost spilled the bong. But it's not even, this is just CBDs, as I say every night. CBD, THCA, gas station bath salt buds. Okay. Former roommate of the suspect accused of Charlie Kirk's murder will not have to testify in person during a preliminary hearing in the case, a Utah judge ruled on Monday. The decision denied a request from the defense team representing the suspect, Tyler Robinson, and argued any testimony's credibility could be challenged later if the case goes to trial. So, the judge made the ruling during a hearing Monday morning, saying the purpose of the preliminary hearing is to establish whether there's enough evidence to justify bringing the case to trial, not to determine whether someone is innocent or guilty. So this is just for the preliminary hearing. So I guess there's still a possibility that they could see. I was under the impression, and I think a lot of other people were too, that they were keeping Lance Twiggs, the roommate, the furry, out of this whole trial. But I guess that's not the case. It's just the preliminary stuff. Okay, Graff also postponed a ruling until Friday on whether prosecutors could face sanctions for comments to the media about a bullet fragment recovered from the conservative activist's body. The defense team had asked Graff to block the death penalty in the case, claiming the prosecutor's comments could sway potential jurors regarding his guilt. Yeah, so they're talking about... Where does this go? Let's open another tab. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So, all right. So remember, guys, the bullet fragment too. Remember how, let's go over to this real quick. This just refreshed my memory. Because remember this, the bullet fragment that they had, they could not match it to the rifle. Remember this? Let's go over here. Let's follow this link with me. Lawyers for Charlie Kirk's accused killer question link between bullet and rifle found. Lawyers for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk are asking to delay a preliminary hearing set for May, arguing the defense team needs the time to review ATF analysis they contend could not connect a bullet fragment recovered from Kirk's autopsy with the rifle found near the scene of the crime. Guys, remember, there's so much. And again, let's remember what we went over when this news broke before, and a lot of conspiracy people got way too excited. This does not mean that this proves the bullet is not the right bullet. This just means that it could not be matched. Maybe the bullet was too damaged. Maybe they didn't try hard enough. I don't know. But it was not matched. It does not mean that it's because the bullet is not the right bullet. If we're being extremely charitable, even though we don't believe any of this bullshit to begin with. Let's go back over here. I think that's it for this, right? Hold on, let me get back. Yeah, that's it for this. Okay. Let's go back over here. Okay, let me get rid of this. All right. So, bullet fragment. Okay. Block the death penalty. Robinson, 23, has not yet entered a plea. He is charged with aggravated murder in the September 10th killing of Kirk. So, yeah, guys, again, we've had a few people up in the chat tonight being like, oh, well, how did, if he's, if he didn't do it, why does he think he did it? Well, guys, if he thought he did it and was just like, he hasn't pled guilty, right? I mean, like, we could just save all the time if he was really like wanted to take credit for it. We wouldn't even be wasting our time with preliminary hearings and all of this. He would just be like, yeah, I fucking did it. Lock me up. I don't give a fuck. But they're wanting to see the evidence and stuff. And bro, I honestly, guys, I don't understand in terms of, you know, the conspiracy sense. I don't understand, like, you know, exactly what is going on with, like, you know, he's going to trial. I don't know if his lawyers are going to try to set him up or something, or if this is all just a show, or if he's actually like, if he was tricked into kind of being a part of this, but he's backing out, or you know, I don't know. I really don't know. But guys, there's been weirder things. People have fucking, listen, this is one point that I've made before many times, and I think it's worth stating. If you believe that Tyler Robinson hated Charlie Kirk enough to take his grandpa's rifle up to that roof and risk going to prison for the rest of his life and killing Charlie Kirk, taking the shot that killed Charlie Kirk and risking going to prison. If you think Tyler Robinson hated Charlie that much that he would actually go do it, if you're just being real, just be real. Don't let your defenses down. Just be real. If you think he would do it because he hated Charlie that much, you would have to agree he would take credit. He would at least take credit for doing it, even if he didn't do it. If he hated him that bad, that he would actually, you think he hates him so bad he would go murder him, you have to at least think he hates him bad enough to not do it, but say he did. And there's been weirder shit. Guys, there are fucking fake patsies, sorry, that's not what I meant to say. There are false confessions all the time, guys. It happens all the time. And remember, the funny thing that ended up coming up with me debating people on Twitter and stuff, the MLK situation, guys, oddly enough, they initially, the 30-06, that was supposed to be the rifle round used to take out MLK. A guy initially, like, was supposedly confessed to doing it, and then when I forget exactly how it went down, but he withdrew his confession, and the family sued and won some kind of lawsuit proving that there was something more going on, that there were other people that were in on it, and that it wasn't just their family member that was getting blamed for it, and they claimed he was a patsy. This has all been repeated before, guys. This is like what happened with the MLK case. And the family won something. They won some kind of lawsuit, something in court where they proved that the official story was like bullshit to some standard. So anyway, let's move on here. Robinson, 23, and not entered a plea deal. Shot in the neck while addressing a crowd. Prosecutors have said DNA consistent with Robinson's was found on the trigger of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, and 2 unfired cartridges. Now, guys, again, pay attention. This does not prove that he did it, right? This is what people have been touting this and boasting about how much evidence we've got on Tyler Robinson. We've got his DNA on this. We got his DNA on that. His DNA is going to be on this stuff, whether he took the shot or not. You realize that, right? This would be a compelling point if this were someone else's rifle. Guys, on the trigger of his rifle, his cartridges that he put his fingers on to load it, and the unfired cartridges the fired cartridge and the unfired one. So if these are bullets that he had, which, guys, my firearms, I have magazines that are preloaded, where if someone like just took my gun, and shot somebody while wearing gloves, my fingerprints would be on the trigger, on all the rounds, every single round that I put in the magazine, my fingerprints would be on the magazine. None of that would prove that I shot somebody. Okay. They also said Robinson reportedly texted his roommate, who was also his romantic partner, that he targeted Kirk because he had enough of his hatred. And again, so we gotta get this person in court, and we gotta check out these the Discord messages, right? Oh, and I'll get to that. Actually, I saved just so I'll make sure we go over that again. We got all this in one spot here. Well, I have some stuff about that on Twitter. Save. We'll get at that after this article here, I guess. Let's see here. Robinson's defense team said court finds the bullet fragment recovered in the autopsy could not be conclusively connected to the rifle near the scene of the shooting, citing analysis from ATF, explosives. Defense team asked the judge to delay preliminary hearing. Robinson's defense team asked the judge to block prosecutors from using recorded statements from the roommate in the preliminary hearing set to begin on July 6th. Roommates should be brought to testify in person, the defense attorneys said, so that Robinson can exercise his right to confront witnesses in person and challenge their credibility. But Graff denied that request, saying that time for challenging witnesses will come later. So this is the interesting thing, guys. If he sent, and again, I'm guys, I don't think that this guy did it, and I'm not trying to be overly defensive of Tyler Robinson. Of course, if he did it, I want him to fucking rot in prison. You know, it's terrible if he did this. He arguably should be punished. But if he didn't do it, can we just say, is it impossible? What is there any way you could, logically and not in some crazy, fantastical way explain what's going on here and where Tyler Robinson is not guilty? The text. If he's texting his room, yeah, okay. They also, Robinson reportedly texted his roommate, who was also his romantic partner. Okay. So, guys, does a text from your phone mean that you told somebody something? Is that absolute proof of that? No. Right? Does your phone only allow a text to go through with your thumbprint hitting the fucking letters? Or if you have someone else's phone unlocked, can you send messages from their phone? Right? Yes, that's the latter. That's how that works. Okay? No one has a phone that won't allow you to send a text because your fingerprints don't match the person who's normally texting on the phone. If the phone is unlocked, you can send a text that says whatever to whoever you want. So again, this isn't solid evidence. You'd have to prove that he had his phone on him. And again, I'll show you what, just to refresh what people are showing with the timeline of that. It shows he was arrested, I think, at least an hour and a half or something before the alleged Discord messages were ever alleged to be sent. Let's see. Text to roommate. Robinson's defense team asked Judge Block. Okay. So, yeah, we've been through that. Utah Supreme Court repeatedly emphasized that a preliminary hearing is not a trial merits. Case. Widespread attention, online speculation, conspiracy theories. Inconclusive to match the murder weapon. Yeah, we know that. Conjecture over the evidence fueled unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that might have been a second shooter or that his death was staged. Attorneys on both sides have raised concerns that the misinformation and extensive media attention could taint the potential jury pool. Yeah, dudes, this is funny, though. This is funny. Like, you know, Tim Pool, this article is almost being fair here, or at least they're mentioning the concerns from both attorneys. They're not really highlighting this as much as I'd like, but Tim Pool has voiced similar concerns, but for only one side of the spectrum of this case, right? Tim Pool has said, if Tyler Robinson is found not guilty, that means the jury pool was tainted by conspiracy theorists. What if he is found guilty? Does that mean the conspiracy, or does that mean the jury pool was tainted by fucking idiots like Tim Pool, who are spreading the idea that this kid is guilty and that the evidence is rock solid when, as I've demonstrated, it's not? So this is a problem on both sides. Yes, it's a concern. Bunch of fucking people in the jury go walking in, they're like, oh my God, this kid did it. Yeah, I saw the video of him on the roof, and he must have shot him because his fingerprints are on the rifle that belongs to him that he has shot before, so his fingerprints would already be on it even if he didn't take the shot that day. No, everybody's fucking stupid, so that's gonna be a problem, but it's a problem for both sides. Okay. Accused prosecutors of trying to influence potential jurors by going on a media tour to talk about the ballistic evidence in the case. Okay, so they are at least they are trying to be fair here, I guess. They're highlighting this. Robinson's attorneys are concerned too, because the jurors might be influenced by the media tours about ballistic evidence and bullshit. Bullard argued the June 12th hearing that he didn't speak to the media about the case specifics, and he only remarked generally about how ballistic testing can be inconclusive. Okay. All right. Well, let's hop. Oh, well, shit. There was something else. Hold on a second. There was something else on the Google search page that popped up that I thought I wanted to see. Prosecutors face sanctions. Oh, wow, you fucking scumbags. It's a sub to read article. No, that ain't happening. Face sanctions. They mentioned something about this in one of the other articles, but they didn't really elaborate. Judge in Kirk case rule on sanctions. Yeah, Tyler Robinson, defense attorney, requests punishment for prosecutors over media tour. All right, let's pop over to, hold on a second. I was looking over here to get us over here for the, there's a bunch of things to look at. Okay. Oh, I can't even get to everything. Hold on a second. What did I want to, there was one thing that I did want to make sure that I got to in the DMs, and I forget now. Here, let me pull this up. Twitter's a pain in the ass. At least the desktop version is. Baron Coleman explained how Charlie's Rode wireless mic worked and why TPUSA should still have the audio. At TPUSA, why haven't you released it? So what? Would that prove that the fucking microphone exploded?
This microphone records locally. So it records in here. It will transmit to this transmitter that connects to your phone or your computer, but it's still recording here. So it's actually recording in two places. And so even if this connection is lost, you get too far away and you're no longer in contact with, these aren't in contact with each other. Like, for example, you get shoved in a car like a side of beef and driven away to a hospital at a high rate of speed. This is still recording if it's intact, which means TPUSA should still have this audio. This audio should be available. I think the defense should get a hold of it. Mr. Burt, Ms. Nesser, you guys are watching. That's something you should get. You should get that audio. There's no way they deleted that. No way they deleted that audio. None. If they did, they're guilty as sin. I'll tell you that. I believe that with all my heart.
So
this microphone.
So, right, if the microphone didn't blow up, they're saying there should be audio of all that, or what? Doesn't match the hardware design. There's no glass part or LCD screen on the transmitter itself. The receiver has the display. Transmitter is a solid plastic metal body with the LED indicators, a power button, and USB-C charging port on the side, on one of its sides, not on any glass or frame display area. I'm confused what they're saying is wrong here. Is on the side of the body? What's wrong with that? Yeah, dude. They are glass. Dude, that is hilarious. We watched the fucking video of the guy destroying one. Bro, this is a fucking retard using AI, and look how this is fucking cropped. So look at this. Hold on, let me pull this up. This is what I was talking about. And I got to look more into this on this guy's page. Oh yeah, he had, but there was something else from this guy's page I wanted to show you guys. And I don't remember, and I didn't save it here. But listen to this. This is what I was talking about. So he's claiming 4 signature acoustic fingerprints. I don't know if this guy, this guy's page I just came upon today, and I haven't been able to like go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what he actually thinks, if he has actually put his opinion out there in terms of like, you know, what if he actually is putting his bet on one particular theory, or if he is similar to like Candace Owens or me or something, where I'm just like, you'll entertain ideas and check out things that are weird that seem to align with, you know, other patterns in this. But they're claiming there's multiple acoustic signatures that they're picking up, and they're claiming they think that this is what it is: muzzle blast from a rooftop, chest cavity resonance, chemical explosion at tent, supersonic bullet crack. All right, let's check it out. Hold on. So, yeah, so they're claiming this is what you're hearing from each one of these different angles. And you can look at the audio. People are saying TFP, is he in here? Oh, Fat Pig's up in here. What's up, Fat Pig? Welcome, welcome. I'm intrigued. I don't know if they're right about this, but I'm intrigued because you know what? This is like what I was saying, that it's almost like, and this is crazy. I'm not saying that I think this is what happened necessarily, but it's almost like both happened. He was shot from somewhere, and also his fucking microphone like exploded. That's just nuts. I don't know. It's almost too crazy to think that that's right, but it's interesting to see someone list some kind of evidence that supports that to a degree. Okay, let's hop over here. Hold on a second. See, look at this. This is kind of interesting. See, and this is what I think I mentioned this before when I tried to really, like, I found the earliest edited version of the Charlie Kirk deal. And look, it's like something starts happening at the back before the front. Look at this frame that he catches here. This is like why I was saying that I'm convinced that it was the bullet coming from behind, and it either like hit in his hairline or like, on the back of his neck. And again, this would line up with why possibly TPUSA or whoever, the feds, would want to hide that footage of Charlie Kirk from behind, because it's possible that it could show this, that something like hit right here and caused the collar to get disturbed before anything moves here. Look at this. You see this popping up before anything happens here? Bro, what a crazy thing. I mean, and this this is just so I don't fucking know, man. It's so confusing. Like, it's almost like, I don't know if someone hit him. Like, just think, what if they had a fucking a gun? The gun used to take him out was the trigger was wired or set to also trigger an explosive. Right? This isn't even like the most impossible thing to pull off. What are you saying, Scott? Hold on a second. His shirt blows up outward. I think it's the mic. No, but dude, that's what I'm saying. I think it's both. Initially, listen, this is what I was thinking before, was that a bullet caused, like, if the bullet is going downward, and I'd love to test this, man, and I wish, in fact, I don't know if I actually may look into maybe trying to test this somehow. But, like, dude, if you put a shirt on a fucking pig carcass or something and you fired right at the top of the collar where it hit the meat, but the bullet went in right at where the collar starts and came out right at where the collar starts, and it's a 30-06 or something that's a fairly large caliber that'll put a big hole on the other side. I don't think that's impossible for that to catch air that makes the shirt get distorted and blow up like that. He's not wearing a super tight, it's not like, and he's got slack because he is kind of arched forward a little bit. But this is what I'm kind of saying, though, is that I almost feel like it could be both. And I know that sounds crazy. I know. But you're right, dude. That's what I'm saying. There are things, I've been stuck on the bullet from behind theory, and like stuff like this, like, Scott, you can see, look up here. Before this blows out, you can see something happen to the collar here. How does the mic exploding here, this would react before this does. And I'm not saying this doesn't explode. I'm just saying that doesn't account for this. Something happens back here. See? See this? He keeps going back and forth. Watch the top of his collar. It pops up. This pops up before the front of the shirt reacts. And it's like split by one frame. Pop. Pop, nothing in the front, pop, pop, nothing in the front, popping up, popping up. Boom, front comes after the back. See? Pop, boom, pop, boom. It's weird, man. I don't know what the fuck to make of it. Can you guys see what I'm talking about? Let me go down here just to make sure you guys can see. Let's just go back here. I got to get off here in a second, but look. Look, this happens first. Pop. Pop. Nothing happening up here. But look at this, though. Interestingly enough, there's some kind of distortion here. Guys, look at... I don't know what the fuck's... Look. There is something that happens here, but the shirt isn't moving. It's up here. Like where something might come out of his neck if it goes through and through. See? Look. Look at this little thing. What's this? What is this? Look. It's like you can't even tell what the fuck is going on. No one's going to ever figure out what the fuck happened with this. It's as if they actually did shoot him and blow him up at the same time. This is what I'm telling you guys. I'm giving more credibility to the mic theory. I just think something else might have happened too. I don't know. I just don't know. But clearly It looks like fragments of his microphone in the fucking van. What is this? Oh, that's the Tyler Robinson. Here, look at this. I'll show you this too, and we'll get out of here after this. But look, then there's this. So and it's not impossible. This guy's making a good point here that the angle, it's possible to match that up. It is. But I don't understand how something can explode and get caught in his neck like right there, and that's just enough to just completely fucking kill him right there. And it doesn't go out. It just like goes into his neck, or it grazes his carotid artery, or what? I just don't understand exactly. I don't know exactly what to make of this. Hold on, let me enlarge it. Bro, and the fucking necklace flying off. The necklace flying off too, I can't really explain with just the bullet. Like it's like the way that the necklace goes, let's go back here. The way that the necklace goes, I mean, that is like it's like his micro. Look at that. Look at the necklace going. That looks like the microphone exploded. Right there, near where his chain is. Yeah, man, I don't know. That's fucking wild. It's fucking wild, man. It's getting a little gruesome there. I don't know if I want to. It's a little much. What a fucking weird situation, man. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. This has been Dark Times with Dark Matt Steve. I truly have to go. I got to make my dinner and head to bed. Got shoulder workout tomorrow. Oh, yeah. We did abs today, guys. Abs. And I did triceps the other day. They're kind of popping. Oh, they're still sore. But look at that. Oh, yeah, we getting back at it. Oh, damn. I'm pretty cut right now. Staying good with the diet. Pretty cut. Did abs. Ooh. Look at that. We're cut. I need to bulk up a little bit. Guys, you know what I ordered? I ordered some rotten candy. Have you guys heard of that? This is not an official endorsement. I'm just trying it, but I think the ingredients aren't too bad. But yeah, I ordered some sour gummy worms from that rotten candy. It's so I do eat these little gummy candy things, the Annie's little bunny candies, the strawberry, or they're not candy. They're gummy bears basically, but it's organic ingredients. And the coloring and stuff is all natural stuff. Basically, this candy is the same thing. It's just not organic ingredients, but they use like the same type of stuff, where it's just like natural coloring from turmeric and all that bull crap. And it's like reduced sugar. It's lower sugar type of candy too. So I'm trying it out. And I figure if I don't like the taste that much or something, I do have friends with kids that will eat some of that stuff here and there. And I figure if I don't like it that much, I won't feel so bad giving it. Like I would normally not buy candy for kids. Maybe I'd save it for Halloween. That could be cool, which I use as an excuse to eat candy anyway. And I do give kids candy on Halloween, but it's a little healthier. So anyway, I'm actually excited to get that. It's been making me hungry. I'm just like, God damn it. It just shipped it. I ordered it like 3 days ago. They just shipped it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I thought it was almost here. Damn it. All right. Lovers, haters, I will see you guys tomorrow. Should have a new parody song. I'm going to try to get one whipped up this weekend, guys. And this one actually is, I don't know what to do for a video for this. If I even were to do a video, like, if Bubba completely doesn't want it, I still want to release it. I might not do a video for it, like take the time to do that, or maybe just do something really simple, just like a lyric video with hardly any video aspect to it. But I think it's going to be fairly good. It's pretty funny. I was cracking up writing it. So I think it's going to be pretty good. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be up in the Rumble chat probably for Bubba's show, at least a good portion of the show in the morning. And then what we got? Well, I don't know if the Fat Pig's going live tomorrow or not. I know I think we're trying to wait for the 50th. He might be going live, but it's not I don't think it's officially the Pigpen show. They're trying to do, I did check again on, I don't remember if I got in the chat, but I did hop in his stream earlier today. But I don't think it's the actual Pigpen show. He's trying to save the 50th episode, make it a banger, I think for next week possibly. So anyway. But yeah, go check out the Fat Pig's channel, _fat_pig. Then we got, where's my boy? Scott Starbird up in here. Subscribe to his channel. He goes on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time before me. And then I'll be on at about 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow we're doing something a little more fun, guys. We've got a couple options. God, I don't. What are we feeling tomorrow? What are we feeling tomorrow? Are we cool with like some interesting debate type of stuff, or do we want to just make it like have fun and fuck around and like, whatever, not be worried about debate stuff, intellectual stuff? What do you? Because you guys know a debate review is fun for me. I have skewed standards. No debate stuff. Okay. All right, I got you guys. I got you. We got something fun for tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. I will see you guys at about 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Oh, and then also Alex Stein on the Real America's Voice channel. He goes live over there too, and that's at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, you got about 30 minutes. Go rub one out or something, and then go check out Alex Stein over on the Real America's Voice channel. It's Pimp on the Blimp, the legend himself. I'll see you guys later. I love you. Thank you guys so much for the support. For realsies, I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh,